What's going on, everyone? So in today's video, we're going to go over the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, the Russell 2000. We're going to talk about how some of the larger stocks are reporting earnings and how they are responding after hours. We're also going to talk about how there are a lot of different stocks having earnings this week and what that means for the overall market. All right, so let's get right into it. So as we can see on the S&P 500, we had a very, very stagnant day. We were trading within a range the entire time. We barely moved at all, really, and we as you can see, the resistance level held. We didn't even touch the support levels, and essentially it was a very, very dry, choppy, sideways action day all throughout the day. And yeah, so these levels essentially still need to hold, and now what's going to happen is we need to see how the larger stocks that are having earnings, how they report earnings, what the news is for those stocks. That's what essentially, since yesterday, a lot of the stock market is just waiting to see how everyone in all of these different companies report their earnings. All right. So on the SPY, you can see that it was just a very, very dry, stagnant, choppy, sideways action day. All right. That's why I say, like, it's not a swing trader's market. You could go long. You could have went long here yesterday, right? And you could have thought that it would continue going up, but then today we barely did anything. So your calls would have lost value and not done well. Anyway, there's the S&P 500. We're going to go over the other stocks soon, but that's really it for the S&P 500. We need to stay, we need to break above 418.25, and we need to hold these support levels. If I see anything different, I'm gonna post it on my Twitter and update you guys on Instagram and TikTok as well. But for now, these are the levels, and we didn't break them today, so they are still intact for now. Unless I see something differently otherwise later. The Nasdaq, though, was a bit different, only because we also had earnings from Tesla yesterday, and Tesla reported very good earnings, but the stock ended up falling. They also reported that they were selling all of their Bitcoin, which was another bearish news for Bitcoin, but Bitcoin's price continues to go up. So that's good. Anyway, so the Nasdaq was a bit different. As you can see, we opened up and we broke the level of support heading into the market. We automatically just started to fall for the first half hour. And we broke through the level of support at 340.76. We ended up touching the next level of support at 339.33. And we traded just below it, really, periodically. We only went down to 339.18, which was less than 20 cents away. And we bounced right back up and retested the first support zone. So that's, you could have traded the Nasdaq, and you could have day traded it on a bounce from this level here. But, you know, again, like, it was pretty stagnant of a day. Not a huge move either way. Obviously, the Nasdaq did move the most. It did move way more than the S&P 500. So, you know, you just have to look for volatility. You have to look for which sectors are moving the heaviest. And the biggest catalysts for those is because currently the Nasdaq is moving the most compared to the SPY because there are many, many FANG stocks reporting earnings this week, which is why, you know, there is going to be some indecision. There's going to be breaks in support and resistance. So we're definitely going to be looking at the Nasdaq this week. But essentially, these same levels of resistance and support need to hold. Let me just change this. All right, so prior support becomes resistance. So as you can see, the first resistance level that we need to break for tomorrow is going to be 340.76, which is this line here. And then 341.91, which was the prior resistance level that I posted earlier, yesterday. The support is going to remain the same at 339.33. And then the next level of support would be this level here at 338.22. All right, so that's basically what we're looking at on the Nasdaq. We just need to see how all of these other stocks report earnings, and we need to see the intraday price action of the Nasdaq. Definitely not going to be swing trading any of the indices this week. All right, so that's basically it for the Nasdaq. The IWM, same concept. All of these different indices were trading very, very tight today. All right, so the resistance levels, I don't really want to talk about the resistance levels because we didn't really go anywhere. But the support levels, right, that we need to look at that I posted today was this 228.07 level, which was this red line here, and then this trend line. All right, so this trend line was around 227.40 at the open. So as we can see at 9:45, after we initially fell through the support level, we retested this trend line. We bounced off of it into, highs of the day up to 229.40, 229.38, right? And then we ended up falling through that first level of support once more, and then retesting the same trend line. And then essentially for the rest of the day, we were trading around these two levels of support the entire time. Okay, so once more, prior resistance is now support. So let me go ahead and change these levels here for you guys. All right, so let me walk you guys through these resistance and support levels. All right, so the first resistance level is 229.70, which is the prior resistance here, which was the top of this wick right here on this candle. Right here. Sorry. Right here. So 229.70 is the first level of resistance. Okay. The next level of resistance, the main, the most important level of resistance currently, is going to be the highs of today at 229.39. Okay. If that breaks, then that gives you a very clear cut understanding that that's potentially where the direction is going to continue on further. And then we can, if that level breaks, then we could potentially retest this trend line here. Okay. So the support levels are obviously going to be this trend line here, which was acting as very good support all throughout the day at 228.30. Okay. So 228.30 is that level of support. And then again, the horizontal level is at 228.07, which was yesterday's level of support as well. Okay. So that's really it for the IWM as well. I can go ahead and add this level of resistance for you guys here. One sec. So then this upper level would be 231 to approximately 231.40 if we do get up there. And if we do break this level of resistance. So yeah, we just essentially have to watch these levels and we have to see how the overall market responds to their earnings. All right, so now let's go into how these top companies are doing after hours. So Google reported very, very good earnings. They're up after hours. Microsoft reported amazing earnings as well, but the stock is down. And you can see that Starbucks and Pinterest are also down in the after hours. So Google, right? Google, Google reported earnings 80% higher than analyst expectations and had an amazing earnings report. Okay, so that did very, very well on Google. That's why we can see that Google is doing very well today. We can see that Microsoft actually reported very good earnings as well, but their stock is down. Okay, so that's what I want you guys to understand. In this environment currently, regardless of whether a stock has good or bad earnings, as we can see yesterday with Tesla, Tesla reported very good earnings, but their stock ended up falling. Okay, so that's why the broader indices, as you can see in the SPY, the Qs, the IWM, they're not moving as much because they're not sure which way the stocks are going to go, right? A company can report very, very good earnings like Google and end up doing very well, but then a company can report good earnings as well like Microsoft and end up doing very badly. So we just need to see how these stocks respond intraday. We need to see also AMD had amazing earnings and AMD's stock is up after hours as well. AMD had it crashed. It smashed earnings. 93% gross profit, 94% income, up 189% this quarter. It's had a very, very good earnings report. So yeah, congratulations to AMD. But yeah, like I was saying, regardless of whether or not a company is reporting good or bad earnings, just right now it doesn't make sense to hold anything. It doesn't make sense to swing trade like stocks to think that they're gonna do well. Like if you bought calls in Microsoft thinking, hey, Microsoft is a really good company, it's gonna have good earnings, you would have ended up losing a lot of your money because Microsoft is down 3%. All right, so now the important stocks to look for tomorrow, Boeing is going to be reporting earnings in the pre-market. Shopify and Spotify are also going to be reporting earnings. Humana and these other companies as well. But the big, obviously, the big companies that you need to watch tomorrow for after the close are Apple, Facebook, Qualcomm, obviously, and MGM, eBay. But these companies here, obviously, are going to be the biggest factors of tomorrow and how we, move in the coming days. So after Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to have a better understanding of where the stock market wants to go. So we really need to see how Apple and Facebook report their earnings. If we can, if they beat expectations and they give very good guidance, then that will be very good for the overall stock market. So let's just keep an eye on these levels. We don't care about what happens with, stocks in general. We don't care if they have good earnings. It doesn't really matter to us. We trade the levels blindly. It does not matter how companies are doing, because as we can see, if a company does report good earnings, it doesn't always translate into the stock price. Okay, so just trade the levels blindly. That's really it for the overall indices. Now let's go into Bitcoin and Ethereum. So as you know, on Bitcoin, we called the bottom perfectly. We said that 46,500, 47,000 would hold as support. I posted on Twitter. I posted the chart on Twitter. We called the bottom perfectly. Okay, and that helped us get into Mara calls. So Bitcoin essentially, it needs to hold above the 38.2% Fibonacci level at 53,800. If 53,800 can hold, we can also see that the MACD crossed above, and that is a bullish cross. So that is a very good sign for Bitcoin. Essentially, 53,800 needs to hold. The MACD crossing bullish is an amazing sign for us to be long. We can see that Bitcoin is moving up, and that is a very bullish sign for Bitcoin. Okay. The next level of resistance for Bitcoin would be this level at 55,943, which is the 50% Fibonacci level. So, we need to see how it responds and crosses over. We see that this gave us bullish confirmation, but now we need to see it cross above resistance. So let's see if Bitcoin can do that. And I think that is a very good possibility of it happening, because Ethereum made new all-time highs today. All right. And Ethereum stayed at support. It, traded sideways around support, and it reclaimed it, and it bounced into new all-time highs today. So that is a very good sign. The fact that Ethereum is making new all-time highs, it makes it a good chance that Ethereum's price, as the altcoin pump really stops, right? All of the money and the profit that comes from people making money in Ethereum has to go out. And in my opinion, usually what happens is when the money goes out, it goes into Bitcoin. So that's what we have to see if that continues to happen and if that pattern does persist. All right. But overall, it is a very good sign for Ethereum, for the overall crypto market. This is very good. We can see that Ethereum also crossed above on the MACD, and we can see what's happening with Ethereum. So yeah, let's see if that happens on Bitcoin. The dollar, it's not really doing much. This is very bearish on the dollar. The MACD crossed above, but the price of the dollar continued to fall, and now it looks like it's a bit overbought. So this means that it still has potential room to the downside, which is a very bad sign for the dollar. But yeah, we will continue monitoring it. The upward resistance is obviously the same at 91.37 and then at 91.602. Okay. Crude oil today had an amazing day as well. We can see that the 20 exponential moving average continues to hold. So the energy sector and the crude oil sector is doing very well. It's oversold on the MACD, and it looks extremely bullish in the price action. So that is a very bullish sign for crude oil. And again, if crude oil and if crude oil is doing well, that is a very bullish sign for the overall market to continue doing well. So equities and stocks will continue to do well most of the time when crude oil does well. All right. So aside from that, that's basically it. If you guys liked the video, go ahead and drop a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate you guys taking the time and watching. I hope you guys helped. I hope I helped. And yeah, have an amazing day. I'll see you guys tomorrow.